Welcome to Quattroforce, guys. Today I'm excited to announce that I'll be waterproofing this quad. I just built it not too long ago. I used the cheap-ass motors that I got in the quad box. I'm using F30A ESCs, 224S, BLHELIS, D-Shot 600. I have the Runcam split on it, version 2, Turnigy receiver, Betaflight F3 flight controller, and Team Black Sheep VTX. I'll show you how to waterproof everything. Let me just quickly show you what you're gonna need to be able to do all of this. Corrosion X for your connections, silicone conformal coating for everything else. It's always good to have a brush, like a toothbrush, just to clean it, and maybe some alcohol. Black light, you're going to be able to see where you missed spots, and paintbrush, which you're going to use with the Corrosion X, because you want to apply very little of Corrosion X. You don't want to make a mess with it. Alright, let's take this baby apart and let's show you how it's done. You don't need to go exactly the same way as I'm doing it. If you're building it, just let's say you have a fresh build and you're starting from scratch, then obviously you can start applying silicone conformal coating as you go, as you're done with the soldering. But if you're not sure that let's say that if you're not experienced quad builder, or that you haven't built a quad before and this is your first or second quad, I would put everything together just with maybe some tie wraps like I did. Try and fly it, see if everything is working. If everything is fine, then come back, take it apart, and use silicone conformal coating. It's a little bit harder to do it that way, but at least you're not gonna silicone conformal coat everything and put everything together and then figure it out that something is not right. So test as you go, and hopefully everything is gonna be fine. I already tested this quad, everything is working perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and silicone conformal coat it. The quad is LS210 cheap frame. It wasn't my first frame, but I kind of like this frame, and definitely nothing to compare with any like X-Hover, Win 5, or even Valorum. Valorum is a good frame, but it's a little bit on the heavy side. But if you noticed, I'm using very low profile here. So I guess in my head I'm thinking it makes it a little bit sturdier because it's low profile, but even less weight. Alright, the antenna is obviously not going to be there. I just put in there provisionally so we can fly it and test it. Alright, you can leave motors on. I'll show you how to work around ESCs with the motors on. It's not too hard. It might get a little bit messy, but if you're doing it my way, the same as I'm doing it now, and if you have black light, it shouldn't be a problem at all. Alright, we're gonna forward through this, because if you put it together, you know how to take it apart. If you're starting from scratch, well then just forward until I start conformal coating it. Alright, depending on your receiver, if you have this little tiny cover, I guess it's like a heat sink maybe, you will have to take it off to be able to conformal coat underneath. The same goes for the VTX. If you have that on, take it off, don't break it. You're gonna have to bend a little bit on the sides, use something sharper, and just try to bend it a little bit and take it off. Okay, once you get a little bit off on one side or two sides, it will come off, and that's what you got underneath. So we're gonna conformal coat everything in here. If you just choose to put it back on, that's okay. On my previous build I didn't, and it worked just fine, but if you decide to put it back, you can. Alright, I decided I'm not gonna conformal coat my Runcam Split 2 just yet. I want to test it a little bit more, make sure that everything is working 100%. It is recording fine, but I'm having a little bit of an issue of using my transmitter to start the recording and turn on the Wi-Fi. I connected it according to the diagram, but something is not right. And even in Betaflight I set it up, but for some reason I can't get to make it work as I was thinking it will. So keep in mind, this will have to dry for a little bit, so work the way you can keep it so it will dry. As you can see, mine will sit pretty much alright except the top part. I'm gonna have to do something to keep it from coming down here, as you can see it now. Maybe I'll unplug it and just pull it back this way. That might work. Let's see. Yeah, so don't pull it out. What you do is you flip it up, and now you can slide the cable back in. Sorry. I'll zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. Right there. So this little tab, this black tab right here, like now it's in open position, it's standing up. But if you push it down, it's in closed position. So don't be pulling it out like I did. Luckily I didn't break it. But here you go, you slide it back in. Yeah, come on. There. Push it down, and it's not going anywhere. So we're good. So just up. There we go. And out. Alright. Let me zoom back out. Alright, so we're not going to be doing this. We're going to move it a little bit to the side as much as we can. Alright. Now this is going to be a little bit tricky to show it on camera, but I'll do my best. For this one, I already did conformal coat it, but I'll show you anyway how it should look. See how it's blue? See if I turn the light off. And the Betaflight F3 comes pre-coated, but I'm gonna go over the where I solder. You see that's not coated. Let me show you. See how it's shiny with the soldering spots. So we're gonna coat those, and there's a spot here that I missed. See where it's black, it's not blue. So let's get to it. Okay, I'm gonna start doing the bottom. So what I do is I flip the quad and I prop it somehow a little bit higher up, but for now I'll keep it somehow like this so you guys can see what am I doing, okay? Here we go. You just want to stay in the way, huh? Alright. You might gonna need to apply a couple of coats of silicone conformal coating if you decide that you want to do what I did in the other video and put it under the water. And we don't need this. Take this off. I'll do that last. Yeah, so see if I can show you how it looks. So the only thing you don't want a conformal coat here on this flight controller is where you plug in your USB. Now if you're using black box and you have SD card there, don't conformal coat that part either. Alright, so now flight controller should be done. Let's have a look. If you see any black parts, you'll have to retouch it there, but a lot of times like it shows as a shadow now, so you look from both sides. Make sure your roll solder is conformal coated as well. Okay, everything looks good on this side. Okay, I found a spot that I didn't do such a good job, so I'm going to add a little bit there. Okay. Now we're going to go to ESCs. Again, it's going to be the same thing, a little bit awkward to do it because we're doing them upside down, but I'll try and show it to you. Maybe hold it like this so you can see it. Okay, we'll be doing this one right here because that's the best one, you guys can see it. I'll do one and then I'll do the rest of them off camera and then we'll move to the top. It's really hard for me to do it this way, I can't see anything. And here you can apply it on everything. Don't need to be worried about anything here. Unless your ESCs have some kind of connectors, but I doubt it. Yeah, that would be it. Do all four on the bottom and then we move to the top. Alright, now let's have a look and make sure that we got everything. Yeah, it's gonna be hard for you guys to see. But just use your black light and make sure that you got everything there on the bottom part. Then we're gonna let it dry for a little bit, and then we'll move to the top. Well, I'm gonna put it up there for dry. To dry, I'm gonna do even this part of the receiver. Just see if I can put it on. Yeah, okay. Just do one side, and then when you do the top, do the other side. On my receiver, you have a button here, but with Turnage Evolution, you bind it once, and then it's, you know, you don't need to be pushing the button. So it's up to you if you wanna. On most, on some of them, you don't get to have the button, so don't worry about it. I should actually take this connection off, but I'll leave it there for now. I'm not using it anyway. So I'm gonna do this part actually. Okay. Zoom in a little bit. So if you want to leave the button, just do everything around it and don't go on the top of it, and you're gonna be just fine. This connector right here I will never use, so for now I'll just put some of this silicone conformal coating inside. But if for later on, when everything is fine and I tested everything, I want to take it off. But for now, I'm just feeling a little bit lazy, I guess. Okay, now let's just check it. Oh, one little hint on this conformal coating: don't get any of it on the part right here where you put the tap on, because that will lock on you. Alright, this looks good. Back as soon as that's dry. I leave it for about 10-15 minutes, and then I get back to it and just put my finger on it, and if it's sticking a lot, then leave it a little bit longer. But if it's not sticking, then you can apply the coat on the other side. I don't know exactly how long does it take for it to dry, but 10-15 minutes has been working for me. You know what? I'll do the bottom of the buzzer too, because that will sit later on somewhere else when I'm doing the other parts. Basically right here you're conformal coating the wires, the exposed part of the wire, and that's it. Oh, while we're here, why not do the XT60 as well? You can do it even on XT60. I'll show you how. We're gonna apply conformal coating on this end, not on the inside, but on the, hold on, let me just move it so you guys can see. We're going to apply conformal coating right to this area right here. And you're going to see the conformal coating is going to kind of start sinking in. That's okay, but do not hold it so it goes through, because it will seep through. So what you want to do is just conformal coat this outside part, and if it seeps a little bit in, it's okay. It's not a big deal. It will still work. What we'll use for inside, if you're planning to go swimming with your quad, it's Corrosion X. I have to tell you that if you apply Corrosion X here, your battery are gonna very easy come undone. So just be careful about that. Know that it might happen, but it works really well. When we put our quad in the pool, when I put my quad in the pool for the video that we made, it's going to be linked. Excuse me, it's going to be linked in this video at the bottom. You'll see that fully submerged with the battery and everything, and it was still working. Alright, and we're back. I left it stand for about 25 minutes. Everything is dry to touch. So we're good to go. Let's do the other side of the receiver, the other side of the flight controller, and the other side of the ESCs. For the camera, I'll do this camera once I have it 100% good to go. And I'll do the inside and I'll do the board. So I'll show you how to do that most likely on the next video. Let's focus here so we can get it up in flying. So what I did, I pushed the flight controller a little bit lower, move some things out of the way, so everything is kind of more or less flat, and we're gonna continue now with the rest. I just move these wires. Stay down, you stinker. Alright, let's start with the flight controller. So here you have a bootloading button. So if you're using that, do not go over that. You have USB connector, don't go over that. You can do the same thing with USB, what I showed you with the camera. All the connectors, use the Corrosion X. Don't be using this because you're not going to be able to use the connector anymore if you use this. And this is kind of hard to get off once you put it on. So I think with the heat you could take it off, because soldering, it's not a problem. If you need to desolder something or solder something over it, it's not a problem. It will come right off. So I'm going to assume that with the heat you will be able to take this silicone conformal coating off, but just, I guess what I'm trying to say is try not to put it where it doesn't need to be, like your sensor on the camera, what I showed you earlier. Don't put it there. Okay, so
Daddy.
yes.
Knock, knock.
I'm recording.
Oh.
Knock knock. Who's there?
Oliver.
Oliver who?
I mean Olive.
Olive who?
All of the other reindeers.
Alright, we're done with the flight controller. Made a little bit of mess right here. That's it. Yep, let's clean that. The quickest you clean it, less it's gonna stay there, less it's gonna stick. Alright, now ESCs. With this kind of ESCs, I'm not gonna take this heat sink off, but try to get some of it right there in the crease. And maybe be a little bit generous and apply maybe even 2 coats to it. Alright, now we're gonna let it dry again for another 15 to 20 minutes and we should be good to go. So, before you put everything together and plug the battery in, just use your multimeter, put it in continuity mode and plug it in the back of the battery. Of the battery connector, and hopefully you didn't shorten anything with the silicone conformal coating, but sometimes it does happen that you have on the table a little bit of soldering, I don't know what it's called, but like little tiny pieces of solder that they remain on the side, and if you pick that up and you actually conformal coated it to something, it could short. Very rare, it didn't happen to me ever, but just to double check, plug those in, and if it beeps on continuity mode, to not plug the battery in. And just make sure that we all understand this. You're gonna put it right here, right there. You have that. It looks like a little Wi-Fi speaker sign. And I'll show you on this quad. I'm gonna take this battery off really quickly. Okay, see the battery lead, so I'm gonna flip it over, put it down, and it doesn't matter here. If you go red, black, red to red, black to black, that really it's not important. So this is what you don't want to hear. Okay, that's bad. Don't plug your battery in. But if you hear just a little bit initial, like beep, that's okay. But you see it's not making any sound. And I'm right here. So, no good. We're good to go. Okay, if you have not seen the test that we did with waterproof quad, click the link or the suggested video and you're gonna see everything we did with the quad that we waterproofed, and it worked just fine. So we have had a lot of people asking us how it's done. Well, there you go. All we used is silicone conformal coating, Corrosion X, and a little bit of Rain-X Original for the lens. And that's it, folks. Soon I'll be testing that Roncam Split version 2, and I'll post up a video of how it goes. But we have even a bigger surprise coming up really shortly. I will not be giving it up yet, but thank you for watching. Quattroforce out. Oh, one more thing I forgot. Check our giveaway videos. There's only been like 100 people that left comments, and we're giving out 3 boxes. So you have really good chances of winning it. All you have to do is subscribe and comment only once. Thank you. Quattroforce out.